Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be finishing up that Shark Week illustration I started a couple weeks ago. I have been watching Shark Week and doodling with this on my iPad throughout the week while I was watching it, and it was way more enjoyable than last year. Last year, I think I spent too much time actually drawing shark-related content instead of actually enjoying Shark Week, so this way I got to do both. Which I was really excited about, and I'm also still figuring out my illustration style, so this was a really great experiment. And with all of my digital art pieces, I am using my iPad Pro, my Apple Pencil, and the app Procreate. I also took a class on Skillshare to kind of see how other artists use the app with the layers and the alpha lock and the clipping masks and everything. The layers I kind of get. The clipping masks are a little bit harder to get the hang of for me. I'm not a Photoshop junkie. I still need to learn how to use Photoshop. I just signed up for the Creative Cloud, so I'm actually learning how to use Photoshop, and to be honest, I find Procreate way easier to deal with. So I am actually really happy with Procreate, and I think it's a really good stepping stone if you are trying to get into digital art and you want to eventually work in Photoshop and with like a Wacom or whatever tablet you choose. A Wacom is something that I would really like to get one day, but for now I'm actually really happy with the ease of use of Procreate and the portability of the iPad. I really like that. I also really like how intuitive Procreate is. It seems really easy to use for me, especially when you're just getting into it. I feel like a lot of people that have used Photoshop in the past kind of don't really get down with Procreate. Because the gestures are different and they have to actually relearn things. So I feel like that's kind of like a bias thing. They've just been used to Photoshop for so long that when you go to a new program and all the gestures are different and there's no keyboard and, you know, things like that. So I'm actually really nervous to learn Photoshop because I am really happy with the ease of use with Procreate. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the illustration. I really experimented with some different texture brushes this time around and different layers and doing the alpha lock and adjusting my lighting on layers like that, and that was really interesting, and it made it a lot easier for me to kind of grasp the concept of digital art. So this was a really great learning experience for me. I really enjoyed doing this piece. I will also see if I can leave the link to the Skillshare class that I took down in the video description below, so you guys could check that out if you wanted to. This is not a sponsored thing. Obviously, I don't have a big enough audience for that, but I do use Skillshare, and I do really enjoy Skillshare, and I will definitely leave the link to the class that helped me the most in the video description if I can do that. So I would love to know if any of you are watching Shark Week, if you like Shark Week, what you like about Shark Week. If you are watching it, what is your favorite show so far? Me personally, I'm really enjoying Shark Week this year. I think it's way better than last year. The only thing I didn't like about this year and last year is the celebrity shows. I think they put too much effort into making it funny, and it just wasn't funny at all to me at all. So I really like the educational shows preferably, and I don't know. The Shark Week movie this year was pretty good though. I really enjoyed that. I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it was a nice watch. I mean, obviously a scary watch, but it was a nice watch. One thing that I'm looking forward to that I really liked last year though, or it might have even been the year before, was the alien sharks. Like the deep sea sharks and megamouth and all the crazy looking ones. I really liked those, and I haven't seen any yet this year, so I'm hoping that before Shark Week is over that I will see some of that. I haven't officially looked at the schedule, but, you know, I mean, I like to be pleasantly surprised. So, so far, though, the air jaws is always fascinating to me. The tiger sharks and the makos, like all of it is just so interesting to me. I just really enjoy Shark Week, and I would love to know if you are as well and what your favorite show was so far. So make sure you leave that in the comments below so I can read all those. I am also wondering if you guys have any questions about Procreate or digital art that I might possibly be able to answer or do some type of video about. I am also curious to know how many of you do have Procreate and like it, dislike it, etc. And if you dislike it, have you used Photoshop in the past and things like that? Because I'm very curious. I'm very interested in all art mediums right now, so I would love to get your feedback on that. And if you do want like a beginner tutorial series on Procreate, please let me know in the comments below so I can accommodate that as well. I think it would actually be cool to kind of do like a digital live stream, and you guys can ask questions and I can kind of like troubleshoot things with you if you would like. So let me know if you would like that in the comments below as well. So anyway, back to this illustration here. So once I figured out the alpha lock on each layer thing, like each part of this piece is done on its own layer. So the face is on, the figure is on one layer, which is like her skin tone, or my skin tone. I'm technically illustrating myself. And then I did a face on top of it with like blush and lipstick and eyebrows and things like that. And once you figure out the whole putting each thing on its own layer, like the popcorn's on its own layer, the front legs on its own layer, the soda thing is on one layer, and each fin is on one layer, like the hair is on one layer, and then you would click the alpha lock and then you're allowed to go in, or it enables you to go in and then tweak that section to where you can add your lighting, your highlights, and your shadows, and you can basically be as messy as you want without getting it on any other layer, which I think is so cool. So I'm really excited that I figured out how to do that. I do feel a little bit weird about this color scheme, but it's as real to life as possible. Like my living room is gray and my couch is black, so you know, and then with the shark pajamas, I went off of my actual reference photo of myself wearing my shark pajamas. So with the exception of the pizza box, usually we get Hungry Howie's and that's normally yellow, and I just thought that would be a little too busy, so I decided to go with kind of like a plain white grayish pizza box, and no one would be any of the wiser. But you know, like I think it did come together in the end. I had a little trouble on the bottom part of this illustration trying to figure out how to do it. But I couldn't, like at first I had it to where like the entire bottom was like black airbrushed, but it was too bottom heavy and it really weighed down the piece. So I ended up having to kind of cut it off and see how I could make that work. And it ended up working out a lot better than I thought it was. So I was real excited about that because I didn't really want this piece, you know, to be 100% detailed and just whatever. Like I wanted it to be a quick illustration, and I think I did accomplish that. I probably could have did a little bit more work on the pizza box, but I wanted to keep the focus on the actual character, and I think I did manage to accomplish that. So I am really happy with how this turned out. And another thing that I had a really good time with this piece was they had this brush called like Old Skin, and to me it looked more like leather, so I used it on the leather couch and I really like how it turned out. It was a really neat texture to put in, and for most of the coloring I normally use the airbrush, but this time I used the technical pencil just for a little bit more texture as well, and that was really interesting. So now I'm like really excited about trying new brushes, and I might possibly buy this one brush pack that was recommended to me on Twitter. So if you are a Procreate user and you bought some brushes or you have a brush pack that you recommend, leave that in the comments below as well, because I'm really excited about trying new brushes, and I might even try to make a brush pack at some point. I'm not quite sure, but I am just really excited to try all the things now. Sorry guys, I feel like this is a really rambly type of video, but like I don't really know how else to get this out without sounding like a total just spaz. Like I'd like to be as free flowing as possible in these videos so you get more of my personality in with the artwork, which I think is a good thing. I don't like to be really scripted with my voiceovers, partly because I always screw it up, and I just like to be a little bit more free-flowing. And when I'm talking, I have like talking points that come to me in my melon, and it just kind of, it's like, what's up? Oh, don't forget to talk about this. So that's why I'm really rambly today. I'm just really excited to get this video posted. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I feel like I kind of have like an OC now. Like I feel like I could take this character and put it in a webcomic, which is something that I am really interested in doing. So I'm really excited. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with illustration from now on, but if you're just showing up here, I'm in a very experimental part of my art journey, and I'm trying all the things to see what I like the most. And so far I like realism and I like illustration, and like I don't feel like I should have to choose, so I'm trying to kind of meld these styles together, especially on Instagram, because I feel like my feed is kind of like a mess. It's like, oh, here's a cartoony one, and here's a super realistic picture, and oh, here's a little doodle that I did over here. And so I'm trying to tie it all together, and I think that I might need to take some photography classes so everything does look cohesive, but I don't feel like I should have to choose, and I feel like every artist can do as many styles as they want. I mean, it works for Aaron Blaze, you know, like he does some super realistic animals, and then he does some cartoony animals, and then he animates the animals, and you know, like I just don't see how you should, or why you would want to limit yourself to just doing one thing. So that's where I'm at in my whole art journey. So I'm sorry if you think that I'm bouncing around all over the place, but I like to do a little bit of everything, and I like to dabble in a little bit of everything just to kind of see what I like. And once I do that enough, I'm sure that I will, you know, take a certain path down a certain way. But until I find that, I just feel like I'm gonna do all the things that I want to do, because I am definitely interested in trying all of the things. I want to make a graphic novel one day. I want to do a children's book one day. I want to get really good at making stickers. I want to design enamel pins like so bad. I want to get really good at making zines, and just all the things that I see the creators making that I want to make. Like it's just something that I want to do, and I feel like I need to do. So I'm going to try as many things as possible until I get to my happy place, and then hopefully I don't make myself stay there. I mean, I feel like even the pros, man, you never stop learning, and the more you learn, the more your style changes anyway, so I don't see the point in just sticking to one thing. Shh, be quiet, phone. Sorry about that, guys. I don't really have the energy to edit that out, so pardon the ping from my phone. Yeah. So, anyway, that's where I'm at, in case I didn't say that enough already in this video, but anywho. Okay, so now we are on to my favorite part of this illustration, and that's really working out the details and the lighting and the final shadows and the final highlights of everything. And this is just always my favorite part of every piece that I do, and I think that's true with every artist. We always love adding the details in and getting everything just right and tweaking it and adding our signature at the end and just calling it finished. I think that's the most rewarding part, is always calling it finished. And like I said a few minutes ago, I really enjoyed this old skin brush because it looked just like leather. Like it was so eerie how that was. But and I really like the texture of the pajamas that the technical pencil gave. And I love the way that the shadow looks and that I was able to actually pull this off. And I feel like it is an actual representation of me thoroughly enjoying Shark Week. So, yeah. And then I finally add my signature and call this bad boy done after I add a few more tweaks and some more blush and some little tiny details. I find it so odd when you add the details after you sign your name, but whatever. So anyway, here is the finished piece, and I am so happy with how it came out. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Kelli Paints. I would love to be buddies with you over there. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and all of those things. And if you came to the premiere of this video, I thank you so much, and I will see you next time.